What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update. A few bits and pieces to get into today. And first up, we are going to be talking about Mr. Brennan Johnson, as Sammy Mokbel says that Tottenham will be listening to suitable offers for Brennan Johnson in January as long as interest in the forward grows. Palace are the most advanced in the interest, but suitors are monitoring. I have heard a separate report as well, don't know how reliable it is, that Aston Villa are interested in Brennan Johnson as well. So it seems as though the interest could be growing.
Yeah, hotting up, isn't it, this rumour, this story, because we heard a few days ago about it, and it kind of makes sense. He's not getting a look in. He's proven he can score goals in the Premier League. Obviously, last season he was our top goal scorer. He's still quite young. I think he's the type of player, if you play to his strengths and if you fit him in a system, you get him getting chances, he will get goals, and he's a very good finisher. But right now, where we're at, Frank doesn't really know his best position or where to play him. He doesn't really play him as like maybe an inside forward. Maybe that's kind of how he was last season, where basically his role was get to the back post, get those tap-ins, get in behind and score like through on goal. So we don't really play to his strengths anymore, what we asked from him. So Frank is clearly doesn't really fancy him, doesn't really want to use him. And I think it's quite right. I think we haven't done this before, but while his stock is fairly high, you can get a pretty decent fee for him. And we can look to upgrade him, maybe with we'll talk about it, maybe a Semenyo or Savinho or whatever. We'll try and get a different kind of winger in. So I think that makes sense for us, but there has to be a bit of a concern that it's more goals we're getting out of the front line, because we've already lost Son. Maddison and Kulusevski last season were a big contributor to goals and assists, and Johnson was our top goal scorer. So right now, as things stand, we have forwards who, you know, where you look at Kudus, Odebear, Xavi, very much creators, not really goal scorers. Not to say they're bad players, they're just what their strengths are. They're much better creating chances and scoring them. So who is going to be the ones to put the ball in the back of the net? We've already had this issue. And now are we exacerbating it by letting go of Johnson? There's a conversation to be had there. But I do think, for me, if a good offer comes in, it makes sense for everyone. And I think if he goes to a club like a Palace or even an Aston Villa, I can see him doing well.
Yeah, I think he will do well. I think he'll get goals anywhere he goes. I think he's a player that'll always put... Look, even when he's playing for us now and we're not playing to his strength, he still was able to put the ball in the back of the net. So it is a bit concerning about taking some more goals out of the team, but he's not playing. So... You know, you can't put the ball in the back of the net if you're not playing and the manager doesn't fancy you in the system. I think one player that needs to step up in terms of putting the ball in the back of the net is Randall Kolo Muani. You know, he's shown it for club and country that he's able to do it, so he needs to do it in a Tottenham shirt now. And other players need to step up. You know, Kudus needs to be getting more goal contributions. He's got the quality to do it. We've got players in that front line. Yeah, fine. You know, a lot of them are not world beaters, but they've definitely got the potential and the quality to show a lot more and give a lot more goal contributions than they're giving to the team. But obviously, when you're going to miss out on Son, Kulusevski, Maddison, now Brennan Johnson, who got the high percentage of all of our goal contributions last season, it's going to be a major struggle, and you need other players to step up.
Yeah, and he's the best finisher, would you say, at the moment?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
So you're kind of letting go of that asset. But for me, if you're not using him and you're also not playing to his strength when he is playing, kind of makes sense for everyone.
Yeah, but the reality is, right, everyone bemoans the fact of lack of quality in the forward line, particularly in this squad. We don't have space in the squad, so someone needs to be a full guy. We need to get rid of men if we're going to bring more in. And
I think, for me, the fact that we're willing to listen to offers and there's a chance he leaves, that tells me we're definitely going to go for a winger in January. Like, there's no two ways about it. You can't let go of Johnson and not replace him. I would be very angry if we did that, because all of a sudden you're just taking out an attacker without upgrading him, and you're leaving us even shorter than we are at the moment. So I think if we're letting go Johnson, we've got to make sure we get a really good replacement. The thing is, let's say, we'll get onto Semenyo in a bit, because I think if it is Semenyo, then it's fine. But let's say it's Savinho. Like, is that a good use of your funds? I love Savinho, but like, if you're replacing with a guy who's not really getting goals and assists, is that like a good thing to do?
The thing is with Savinho, right, I was massively in favour of bringing in Summer, but he can't really seem to get too much of a look in this Man City side. Whenever I do see him play and he gets the minutes, he doesn't really fill me with much confidence, saying like, when I look at him, when I watch him play, I feel like more than we've dodged a bullet, more than we have to go get him in January. Maybe dodging a bullet is a bit harsh to use on Savinho, because I know he's got talent and I know he will be a good player in the future. But right now, I'm not sure if he's ready to make that step up and start week in, week out for us and get those regular goal contributions.
That's my point. But I'm talking about his kind of profile, a guy who's very good at dribbling. He's always a threat, but isn't getting in those goal scoring positions. We're letting go of a guy who does do that. So do we need basically, my point is, when we were thinking about replacing Johnson, does it have to be more of a goal-scoring type?
100%.
It has to be goals.
100%. It needs to 100%. It needs to be someone that can regularly put the ball in the back of the net and regularly lay on assists as well. It needs to be someone with a high volume of goal contributions. You can't get rid of Brennan Johnson and Son on the wings and not replace them with people that can get goals and assists. It's just not. You just can't do that.
And what does letting go of Johnson mean for people like Odegaard and Tell? Would that lead to more game time, or doesn't mean much?
They're already getting more game time than Johnson.
No, more game time in general.
Well, Tell isn't.
Because at the moment Tell's not getting too much of a look in. There's thoughts of, could he be out on loan in January? Odegaard in and out of the team. Will it affect their game time, letting go of Johnson, or if we replace him, it doesn't really make a difference for them, I guess?
Yeah, I don't think it has too much of an impact in Odegaard and Tell. We just have to wait. We just need to pray and hope that we can bring someone of high caliber in. Because for me, Tell and Odegaard, they're good players. You know, they're up and coming players, but they're not ready. I don't think, to start week in, week out and be the guys that we fully rely on. So, if Brennan's to go, Son's gone now. We need to bring someone in of high quality. That's the only thing that's going to be suitable for us.
The annoying thing would be to let Johnson go and just see him bagging in goals regularly for other teams, and then we're sitting here struggling to get goals.
Yeah, look, if that happens and we don't bring the replacement, obviously it's a big mistake. But if we do sell Johnson and we bring in someone and he does the business, then we're not going to care too much. Like, we know that Brennan Johnson can put the ball in the back of the net. He's proven it over his time at Tottenham Hotspur. What he hasn't proven is his ability to consistently impact games. We need someone that can do both. Let's talk about potential incoming in Antoine Semenyo, as Fabrizio Romano has given us an update regarding it, and he says that Tottenham have spent a lot of time over the last few days attacking the situation of Antoine Semenyo. They have been really aggressive in their pursuit of the player. The situation is really heating up, with both Manchester City and Manchester United calling in the last 48 hours, with Liverpool still interested as well. It will ultimately depend on what Semenyo decides to do. Look, we've spoken about this a lot over the last couple of weeks, and I'm saying, look, why are we wasting our time with this? Why are we wasting our time with this?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because if you're looking at someone who's, first of all, a regular goal scorer in the Premier League, who's Prem proven, who else is there for a winger that we want?
I understand that, and if it was up to me, obviously I'd want to bring in Antoine Semenyo. I actually think he could be the best left winger on current form in the Premier League right now. I don't think there's anyone playing better him regularly than Antoine Semenyo, if you add in the goal contributions as well. But when you look at the teams that are also interested in Man City, Liverpool, potentially even Arsenal as well, like, he's not going to come to us. So I mean, let's bring in a target that's actually going to come. Like, this is Eze's situation written all over again. Like, if we spend too much time on it and he's not convinced of joining Spurs, we've already heard he's not convinced of joining Spurs. So I mean, how much time are we going to spend on it to have egg on our faces again?
Well, if he's got absolutely no interest in coming here, then move on. But if you're getting some sort of encouragement, then try and get a deal done. But
we got encouragement from Eze.
I'm not behind the scenes, and it might have been done if Arsenal didn't swoop in. But whatever, that happened. Doesn't mean we can ever sign an Arsenal fan ever again. But yeah, in this situation, obviously, if there's no chance of signing him, then we should be moving on. But again, football transfers are rarely that simple. It depends on how serious the interest is from these other teams. How are they willing to put the release clause down, or are they going to negotiate and try and get some money off? And if Tottenham just go ahead and get a step ahead of the competition, maybe there is a chance. But look, for me, from the outside looking in, it doesn't look like we have much of a chance of pulling this one off. But doesn't mean in reality, behind the scenes, maybe there is a chance. I don't know. I'd love it to happen. There are some suggestions. Is he the right player for us? For me, to replace Brennan Johnson, for me he is, because he's someone basically who knows where the goal is. He does score goals regularly, and he impacts games a lot more, I should say, than Brennan. He's a better dribbler. He's better taking the ball under pressure. What I would say is he is quite similar. So he can be quite similar to Kudus in the sense that he can dribble a lot of the time with his head down. Is he much of a combiner? He doesn't create much. He's much more of a high volume shooter. He's the opposite to Kudus, where he'll get to the final third and just spam shots, whereas Kudus he'll get to the final third and basically spam crosses. So they're opposite in that way. But should we be looking at a player who is better at combining with his teammates, not always just looking at dribbling and taking people on, and actually looking to keep possession and sustain pressure? Whereas if we have Kudus and Semenyo, is it just too much chaos and it's going to lead to a complete lack of control? But then again, maybe that's what Frank wants. Maybe that's suited to a Frank kind of way of playing. So I understand both sides of the argument. I just feel if we're looking to replace goals, Semenyo brings goals, and I'm pretty sure he will do that at Tottenham.
Yeah. The thing, look, I get and I agree with what you're saying about, is he the complete profile that we want on that left-hand side? And maybe he's not the ideal candidate, but he is a player that's going to improve us. That's the reality. And these players are hard to come by. Like the profile that you're asking for, someone that, can dribble, that can shoot, that can lay on. Like we're asking for the perfect player here.
Is Lamine Yamal available?
You know what I mean? We're asking for the perfect player here.
Like,
there's not many of them available. That's the problem.
The thing is, could Savinho be that? That's what I'm thinking. I don't know
if Savinho can be that right now. Maybe later down the line.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's got that experience in the Premier League. Look, the thing is, he can definitely play in the Premier League. He's very good at dribbling. The big question with Savinho is he gets in those positions, and it's just off. Like his finishing and his he hits the post a lot. His pass will be just like an inch off. No. But once he starts clicking, I think he's gonna be a well-beer. But the thing is, with Man City, they can't afford to wait with that. Can we though? Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if we can. we need goals now though. That's the thing. We need goals now. We got like we mentioned before. Son's gone. Brennan Johnson's gonna go. We need someone to come in and provide that quality now. Like
that is a point.
So, I don't know.
Both.
With Savinho, right, I would bring him in the summer. I don't know about bringing him in January. I think in January we need someone that's more a guarantee to go get those goals. Like Savinho, I'm not against bringing him in. I'm just kind of against bringing him in at the detriment to bring in someone more proven.
But I wonder whether there'll be that opportunity in the summer, whereas right now, he's out the team at City.
Yeah.
He wanted to leave in the summer for that World Cup spot. He now is still not playing as much as he would like. So he might be even more determined to kind of leave right now. Whereas come the summer, the World Cup would have happened. I'm not saying he won't want to leave, but will it be as desperate to just join kind of, okay, Tottenham's available, let's just go there because I want to get that World Cup spot. Maybe he's going to have more options in the summer. Maybe more things will be available. Maybe he won't even want to leave as much because, that World Cup spot isn't as much of a pressing issue. So there might be a unique opportunity this January to get him, whereas in the summer it might not be there.
Yeah. So I mean, would you do that then? Would you bring in let's say Semenyo would want to come, and let's say we can get both these players in January. Are you choosing Savinho? Because I'm choosing Semenyo if it's between the two.
I actually think Savinho has a higher ceiling than Semenyo.
No, I don't disagree, but Semenyo still has a high ceiling, and he's more proven now.
Yeah, I'd probably, but I think it's very short-term thinking to go with Semenyo. I don't know, it's very 50-50 for me, what I'd go for. It's very 50-50. I think, I'd probably just side with Semenyo.
All right, let us know in the comment section below, who would you choose over Semenyo and Savinho? I mean, it's probably, doesn't really make a difference who we choose, because probably neither of them are going to come, but that is the topic of conversation at this moment in time. Let's move on And let's talk about the goalkeeping situations. Gabriel Sanz, who is a Barcelona journalist, says that Tottenham are interested in Marc-Andre ter Stegen and monitoring his situation ahead of the January transfer window. Monaco, Newcastle, Manchester United, Besiktas and Bayern Munich are all interested in the Barcelona goalkeeper. Obviously, he hasn't played any football this season. He's had his injury problems and everything like that. We've spoken about him a bit on this show over the past 6 months or so, with not much kind of belief that he can get that form back. He's 33 years of age already. But put it this way, if there is an offer for Vicario this January, I'm not saying there is, but let's say that, for argument's sake, there is an offer from Inter Milan this January for Vicario, and you've got a goalkeeper, but you can only get him in January, would you bring in ter Stegen for a 6-month kind of period to fill in?
As in, are we assuming Vicario is going, or we're saying...
Yeah. On the assumption Vicario's going.
I want...
Is it a major downgrade, ter Stegen?
Probably, to be honest. Like, from the recent evidence, yes. There's no evidence that he hasn't played since he's come back from injury, so we don't really know what kind of condition he's in. He was in horrible form before the injury. A lot of Barca fans wanted him gone.
Vicario's in horrible form now. I
know that, but he's younger. He's already also had some good performances this season. But we're talking about if Vicario's going, would you rather take ter Stegen on a 6-month loan or look for a new keeper? Is that the question? Or go with Kinski?
Yeah. Would it be acceptable to take ter Stegen on a short-term basis and go for like someone like, say, Verbruggen in the summer or something like that?
I guess that's an acceptable situation, but I don't understand why we would do that. You might as well keep Vicario till the summer. I'd rather have Vicario than ter Stegen right now, put it that way.
Fair enough.
I don't think, unless we're confident that ter Stegen can reach anywhere near the level he did maybe like 5 years ago. It's been a while since he's been in good form. I think he was once a very good keeper, but he lost confidence. He's had injuries. Look, maybe that this injured period has like allowed him to see different things in a different perspective, and maybe he's going to come back a different keeper. But I don't know.
How long was he on bad form for? Because I mean, he's not even... I mean, he's old, but he's not that old, you know what I mean? Like, keepers go on for a while.
Mm-hmm. It's been a few years. It's been a few years. Look, for me, ter Stegen's not the one to replace Vicario with, put it that way. But if we're set on selling Vicario and there's not really a great option short-term and he's there, fine. But I think that'd be a stupid thing to do.
Fair enough. I mean, I don't know too much about his form or the bad form or... You know, he hasn't played for like a year, hasn't he? He's been injured for so long.
It's also a problem, yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. But if this report is true, clubs do seem to be very interested in him. I mean, I'm looking at the clubs. Newcastle probably not going to sign him as a number one. Why would the Newcastle even say they've got Pope and Ramsdale? Unless Ramsdale's going, like, he's not going to get in ahead of Pope, is he?
No.
Bayern, he's not going to be number one there.
Unless they're looking to maybe a long-term Neuer replacement, but I don't know if it's him.
But ter Stegen's not a long-term Neuer replacement.
Neuer's 40, so
yeah.
So if he's 33, then maybe they didn't get 7 years out of him. But I don't know.
And Manchester United, surely if they buy him, he's just going to be a backup to Lamens. He's been pretty decent since he's come in. So
yeah,
it's looking like these clubs are looking for more backup options than first choice options. Maybe there's a conversation to be had about Kinski. Maybe they're not convinced about Kinski.
Maybe I wouldn't mind him as a backup.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind him as a backup to Stegan if we're not convinced by Kinski.
All right, let's move on and let's talk about Ruben Vargas. Our favourite publication, Fichajes, says that Ruben Vargas's displays have brought him to the attention of several Premier League clubs ahead of the January transfer window, with Tottenham being one of the clubs plotting a move for the winger. But Tottenham face plenty of competition for his services. Villa, Leeds and Newcastle are all monitoring his progress and could battle Thomas Frankman for his signature. I mean, I swear we've been linked with him before.
Probably
last summer or the summer before or something like that.
He's a good player. He's not like a terrible player, but he's like a mid-table player. He's like he's not nothing special. He's not particularly fast. He's not particularly good on the final third. He's like average at everything. I've seen him many times in the international competitions for Switzerland. He always puts in a good job. He's a
hard worker.
Hard worker. He would be perfect for like a wing back role. if like under Conte, a wing back who's a bit more, bit more attacking, but obviously does his defensive duties as well. Like, but he is. If we're saying Ruben Vargas is going to come in and start winger for us, we have a serious problem.
Yeah, I mean, if we were to seriously look at him, that just stinks of kind of what everyone complains about under Enoch and Levy, really, buying these substandard players like your Longleys and your Bergwines.
Exactly, he's just an average player. Yeah. He's not bad, he's just absolutely nothing special. He's like a probably mid-table Premier League player. Maybe some fans would argue that's what we are, so just accept it. But for me, and no chance we should be signing Vargas to be our starting winger. Yeah,
I agree with that. And last but not least, Graham Bailey reporting that Tottenham are making a strong push to sign Leicester starlet Jeremy Munga, the 16-year-old who made his debut for Leicester aged 15 last season, and at that point he was the second youngest player ever to play in Premier League history. Getting a fair amount of minutes for Leicester this season, the Championship, as a 16-year-old. Look at that. I don't know how many of those are starts, but 12 appearances, 1 goal, 1 assist already as a 16-year-old. That's pretty impressive.
It's very impressive. So if we're looking at, again, future, next generation, if we're thinking this is a really talented player, fine. But doesn't help us in the short term. But yeah, great. Go get him and loan him out.
Yeah. I do remember that game he came on as a sub last season. I can't remember who it was against. I remember I was watching the game at the time. He looked decent when he came on as a 15-year-old, but haven't watched him too. That's literally the only few minutes I've seen of him. So
we're hoping for him to be Lamine Yamal. I don't think he's going to be in the first team squad.
Yeah. It's probably a case of if we are going to sign him, loan him out, sign him, put him on the like. If you're playing in the Championship, you're probably a bit too good for the under-21s. That's the reality. So it's probably sign him and loan him out kind of job. But look, that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below all your thoughts regarding all the news stories that we have spoken about today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.